Movie theaters are struggling post-pandemic as films increasingly premiere on streaming platforms, even more so for independent cinemas. In recent years, many historical theaters are closing down one after another, including the 75-year-old Chen Mei Theater in Tainan, famed for its hand-painted billboards and endorsement by award-winning director Ang Lee. The theater said it's only closing temporarily to devise a new business plan. What is the way out if there is one? Our weekly feature.
This is a footage from the day Tainan's Chen Mei Theater celebrated its 75th anniversary on February 12th, attended by numerous moviegoers and long-term employees, as well as veteran billboard painter and long-term collaborator Yan Zhenfa. But the atmosphere was not one of joy, for it was also this day the theater announced that it's temporarily closing down for a new business direction. Located in central Tainan, Chen Mei Theater was established in 1950, then known as the first Chen Theater. It was named as Chen Mei Theater after changing hands in 1969. The theater's fame exploded after acclaimed director Ang Lee mentioned that he often went there to watch movies when he was in high school, and being the last cinema in Taiwan to display hand-painted billboard further solidified its iconic status. For it to close down, even if only temporarily, was a difficult goodbye for many.
我喜欢他们的那种，像我们小时候有那种进去可以买很多零食啊。
I really like how it still feels like how it was when we were kids. You can buy all sorts of snacks there, unlike in today's theaters where there's only popcorn and Coke. You can buy some snacks, and that's really nostalgic.
它的特色就是像大家有看到外面的那个，就是手绘的那个看板。
Its most defining feature is what everyone sees, the hand-painted billboards outside and the free postcard of the billboards you'll get if you go in and watch a movie, which is a really attractive deal. I think I might cry. It feels like a part of old-time Tainan has disappeared in the sands of time.
Some of the moviegoers are Chen Mei's loyal customers who've gone here from their teenage years till established adulthood, while others are university students who are only starting to fall in love with this historic theater, but must now say goodbye. The manager Wu Zhengchen says it was a difficult but necessary decision to close down.
一路都很辛苦了，想到我们这一代如果要交给下一代。
It's been really difficult since the very first day. When I think about how our generation must now pass the baton on to the next generation and how they will have to endure the hardships of beginning a new undertaking, it really makes me a little wistful. A business must generate revenue. It can't just sit there and look pretty.
来票100，谢谢。我那时候是在票口售票。
Back then, I collected ticket stubs at the entrance. Business was really good then, when we first became a second-run theater. At most, there were more than 3,000 tickets a day. It's much, much worse now. Then, we'd always have a full house. There were so many people. What it's like now cannot compare at all.
At present, the theater occasionally sells more than 100 tickets on weekends, but usually sales hover in the double digits on weekdays, with revenue of mere thousands but expenses over 10,000 NT per day, including licensing fees, utilities, and payroll. Chen Mei essentially loses money every day it's open. This isn't the first crisis in the theater's history. In 1969, when Wu's parents took over the family business, then still a first-run theater, it faced fierce competition.
因为那时候首轮，院线片大家在抢片，而且
Business wasn't great when we were a first-run theater. We almost had to sell the business just as soon as we had taken over. Then, a manager at United Artists Taipei branch, Mr. Zhou, suggested that we take a step back, retreat in order to advance.
The manager, surnamed Cho, suggested that Chen Mei could instead license popular films that's just had their first run to show at a discounted rate. The cheaper double feature business model was an immediate hit among students.
那么便宜还2个片子所以那时候李安都来这边看电影就是这样。
It's so cheap and also double feature. That's why Ang Lee used to come here, so that students at NCKU. We really had lots of students here then.
The year 2020 sent the film industry into another crisis amid the COVID-19 pandemic. It's not only that no one went to the theaters anymore. Even after the pandemic subsided, consumers did not return to previous levels. Post-pandemic, some distributors postponed new releases, while others opted for streaming as first release window.
6家2轮电影院遴选公告将在5月31号和大家说再见。
一度是冈山唯一的电影院，但现在即将熄灯。
百般思考之后，忍痛决定在6月1号暂停营业。
So how can old theaters stay afloat? Here's an unconventional idea from a century-old establishment in Nantou City that's bringing back customers. Here you can watch a movie with your cat and also consult a pet psychic free of any additional charge. It's hard to imagine that such a lively and innovative atmosphere could be experienced at the oldest first-run theater still in operation in Taiwan. Nantou Theater was established in the 1920s during the Japanese colonial period. It was initially known as Wabutai, a stage theater showing Taiwanese theater, glove puppetry, and cabaret. It only started screening films toward the end of the Japanese period and changed its name to Nantou Theater in the 1950s.
尤其是那种过年啊，或者是连假的时候，就戏院那边真的是挤爆，对。然后印象最深应该是。
Especially over the Lunar New Year or long weekends, it'd be really crowded. I still remember when Titanic was showing, everyone wanted to get in, even if they had to stand or find somewhere to sit on the stairs. It didn't matter, you just had to let them in.
But the heydays did not last long. In the 2000s, bootlegged DVDs flooded the market, just as the theater was recovering from the 1999 DG earthquake. Post-pandemic, streaming dealt another blow. One by one, theaters in Nantou closed down, except for the century-old Nantou Theater, still hanging on a thread. Not that second-generation owner Cai Dinghong never thought about giving up.
每个月在赔钱，然后我妈妈也那时候自己就是在戏院在看门口嘛，就戏院。
We were losing money every month. Even my own mother had to stand guard at the entrance. It really broke my heart to see my mother, who's already in her 70s, still having to come to work at the theater every day. So I really wanted to close it down. But Jie Feng didn't want that, so I passed it on to him.
如果消失的话，就第一个南投人要看电影，可能就真的全部都要到外县市去了。
If it were to disappear, then first of all, people in Nantou would have to travel to other municipalities if they wanted to go to the movies. And second, if Nantou no longer had a movie theater, everyone will feel a void in their hearts, so we really don't want that to happen.
Although Cai Jiefeng grew up at the theater, he did not end up in the film business. He studied restaurant management in university and worked in public relations after graduating. His determination not to have Nantou's only remaining movie theater to fold took him back to his hometown and learn about every nook and cranny of running a theater, from the silver screen to the sound system, alongside his father, Cai Dinghong. He also put his professional experience in public relations into good use. The first change he implemented to promote Nantou Theater was to restore the building facade.
那我们对照的就是大概民国55年拍的一张照片，对，所以我们是用那个去把它做还原。
We referenced a photo taken around 1966 to restore it, including the window panes and the signboards, which were redesigned based on the fonts of that time. At the entrance here, many cinemas now use electronic displays, but we're still using traditional wooden grids.
He also put a creative spin on promotional events of every movie showing soon.
我就想说借一个课桌椅，然后这边就是布置一下那个场景，然后跟我们工读生借。
We thought we could borrow a set of desk and chair from the set and borrowed school uniform for our part-timers. I remember that the girls would change into their own clothes after school and stuff the uniform into the drawer, probably to go on a date.
Since they're on a limited budget, they had to borrow the desk and chair. Even the blackboard is entirely handmade. Even so, it's clear they've poured their hearts into creating the experience.
就我们会长期供应那个祈愿卡跟那个包装。
We also give out the goodies bag of the God of Culture and Literature, which includes a card to write wishes on. We did get the God's approval by casting divination blocks. That's why we can do this giveaway.
Through weekend markets and other cultural events, Nantou Theater has made itself into the local weekend go-to and an emerging cultural landmark. Not only has it welcomed back more and more film lovers, it's also attracted a great number of visitors outside Nantou. Even though the theater's only starting to break even, the father and son are determined to keep it going for as long as possible.
我觉得一个乡下地方，我们戏院要经营的话，你不能墨守成规。
I believe that for a theater to survive in the countryside, we can't do things the conventional way and follow in others' footsteps. Of course, there are some things we can't change with the facilities, but whatever can be changed, I let Jiefeng know, and we do our best to change it.
我觉得在他们心里面一定会去想说，那这样子如果失败的话，是不是亏损会更大之类？
I think they might have reservations, because if things flop, then the losses will be even greater. But at the same time, they also believe that some things just have to be done. Don't think too much. Just get started and deal with the rest later.
In recent years, Trenmei Theater had taken advantage of its storied establishment, offering event venue rentals for film sets and the general public. Renters have held a myriad of activities from book clubs to stand-up comedy, and even to stage a proposal. Although this did generate a greater revenue for the theater, it still wasn't enough to keep it afloat.
不是只是说我们的经营模式而已，我们的这个组织。
It's not just our business model. We must also solve the aging problem of our organization as well as issues over maintaining the building. All these are challenges for Trenmei down the line.
Wu is now considering the feasibility of collaborating with eateries in its Sikan shopping district, so patrons can enjoy Tainan's famous small eats while watching a movie. He's also considering turning the office on the second floor into a cafe.
我们就像我们的电脑重开机一样，你说是关还是开的，我也说不出来。
We are like a computer that needs to be restarted. It's hard to say whether the pause will go on indefinitely. I can't even say when the end will be. We are indeed off now, but whether things can get back on track after restarting is also still hard to say.
Hopefully, it'll only be a short goodbye. Too many historic theaters have closed down already. Even when their curtains come down, scenes in old places will always stay in our memories.